This week's episode is brought to you by Bikini Bottom Twitter. SpongeBob SquarePants had an impact on all of our lives growing up, and we will miss Stefan Hillenberg a lot. He will live on through the memes. Bikini Bottom Twitter. What do you normally do when I'm done? Wait for you to get back. R.I.P. Steven.
Nexus at Night, the podcast with the weirdest named host and the least amount of production values. I'm Atlas.
And I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
See? And so today we are here to talk about the prize support that Bushiroad offers for their Vanguard tournaments. And
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
Nothing? It's nothing. They give us nothing.
But the events are free.
Yes, the events are free. Yes, much like Sit and Sleep, if they can't beat an advertised price, their events are free. So I wanted to take a look at what exactly, other games do with their prize support, because Vanguard is not the only trading card game, despite what the anime will tell you. And yeah. So
Vanguard prize support is pretty ass, even at not Vanguard, or even at not Bushiroad events.
What,
Bushiroad events have negative prize support, right? Like you
give us $5 and we kick you in the shins.
No, you didn't pay them $5, right? You have to, but worse, you have to pay for parking usually at some convention center.
Yeah.
Or worse, you have to buy entry to some anime convention.
Yeah.
And then, you go to this free Bushiroad event, play in your tournament, get no prize, because unless you get first, then you get invite to Worlds, right?
Well, they give
or invite to Continentals or whatever.
They give you a deck box and a promo, and that's about it.
If you're top 8, you get a mat.
That's true.
Yeah, but that's, not a real prize, right?
Nope.
Who doesn't have a pile of playmats laying around?
If they give you a grumpy math major as your prize for top 8, that's the worst prize ever.
Yeah, thank goodness not me. Well, you look at other card games, right? And, Magic gives cash prize at their events.
Do tell. What? How is this broken down exactly?
So, at a large enough GP, first place will get $10,000.
Dang. So you can make a living doing this?
So, not really. So, it's too infrequent that you can, win events constantly in Magic, because people are very good. And, events are very large, and there's a lot of variance, right? So, it's pretty infrequent that you can just win a bunch of events. So, people typically make a living off Magic, and quote, by writing articles.
That's something.
For, big websites like Channel Fireball or, TCG Player or something of the sort, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, there are professional Magic players, but they usually make a living doing that. With that being said, I think Magic's prize support is pretty small compared to how popular the game is. They could stand GP payouts to be a lot higher, and they just don't.
Well, how much is entry fee for GP?
That is the major issue, is that GP entry fees are skyrocketing.
Oh.
As in, they're getting up to $100.
Oh man.
Yeah, for constructed GPs.
What
you have to bring your deck and pay $100.
Oh, okay.
Which is insane.
So
I'm not even getting 6 booster packs and paying $100. I'm just getting and playing with a sealed deck. I'm just actually bringing a deck and paying $100 extra dollars. So it's just huge entry fees.
And how big do these tournaments get usually?
Several thousand.
Wow.
And the end for me, I can go to it makes it hard to go to GPs very often at all, right? Because the entry fee is so high. I just don't it's hard for me. I don't have a lot of money, and it's hard for me to say, hey, let's just go to this GP and pay $100 for entry fee. Hotel is who knows how much, right?
Oh, that's another thing. If
you
had to travel
Jesus Christ. Yeah. It's well, I'm not prizing, probably, and then GG, we're dead. Oh, cool, I lost a whole bunch of money. And, it's just not worth it. Like, the GP weekends are fun, sure, but they're very expensive. And it makes it hard for a lot of people to go continuously. So, like, maybe I go to, like, one GP a year. And, like, when it's, like, local. So, I think it could stand that, GP costs are, like, a huge, huge issue in the Magic community. And they have been talked about for a very long time, and nothing, of course, has been done. So...
Is this like a decades-long problem, or?
So GPs didn't used to be this big. There was definitely a time when GPs were only a few hundred people, or maybe like several hundred. Mm-hmm. And it's just like in the recent years, GPs have just exploded in size, and the price support has not gone up at all. So, in fact, they just like scaled down price support.
Oh.
And everyone's like rolling their eyes about it. Yeah, it's like real stupid. So there's that. So Magic price support, while being a lot better than Vanguard, is still not fantastic. Well, it's like not fantastic for the size of what Magic is. But they do give you cash, which is unlike most other games.
Yeah.
Pokemon price support is pretty solid. They give just booster packs, but they pay out real far.
Oh, the booster packs do?
Booster packs?
Yeah.
They just give booster packs wherever the latest set is.
No, I'm saying, you said the booster packs pay out real far? As in, like, there's
like you can get like a pretty low place and still get a bunch of booster packs.
Oh, that's what you mean by pay out. I thought you meant like the cards in the booster packs were worth.
No, probably not. Booster packs, booster packs are booster packs. But there's definitely people who made like people were posting from like the Latin American like international championship, which of course like a super large event, right? Like super high profile event that has like. A lot of stuff to get to, but like people were definitely posting like I think I saw some top 32s and they had like 10 boxes sitting around.
10 boxes.
10 boxes.
Dang.
And like people made like top 64 and have like a box.
That is pretty far.
Yeah, and the entry fee at these events at like Pokemon regionals are like $40.
That's not that bad.
Which is definitely like a lot less than a Magic event, and like Pokemon events are like still pretty competitive. So, Pokemon pricing is like pretty interesting, and so they give out a whole lot of product, right? And since they're giving out a whole lot of product, people are opening a lot of product, and the singles market is like in existence. Like you look at a game like Buddy Fight, where the singles market just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because Bushiroad just doesn't print enough. It gets bought out, and then like people just can't buy cards and people can't play the game. Like
it seems like the buddy fight scene in the U.S. just kind of doesn't really exist compared to like Europe or Japan.
I think other places have the same problem where they just don't have cards to buy. Like people just can't get into the game because the cards just aren't there. Like Bushiroad doesn't print enough in order for that game to grow.
Oh, this also happens like every set. They'll have the initial wave, people will buy it out because their favorite clan is in it, or it's like AL4 where you have like a clan that's super competitive in Murakumo and then Shadow Paladin, which is hyped. It gets bought out, and then there's this kind of drought almost where the prices will spike a little bit and then they'll drop back down when they finally release a second wave. But this happens every single time.
But for Vanguard, the cards still exist.
Yeah.
For Buddy Fight, they just don't.
Oh, like there's just nowhere to buy
there's
them,
just
like
no
in
cards.
Stores or anything?
There's just no cards to buy.
Oh.
Like, it's like, I definitely have thought about getting to Buddy Fight like one point in my life. And I just couldn't find cards to buy, and I was like, nope. Because I was like, if I can't buy singles, I'm not playing the game.
It's a good philosophy. If I can't buy the cards, I'm not going to...
Like, I'm not buying sealed product until I get a deck I want.
Oh, yeah,
that's dumb as fuck. I'm just gonna like if I'm getting into a new card game, I'm gonna buy a good deck and learn it, and then decide if that's a deck I want to continue playing. Like I'm not gonna learn a game from a stupid. Like I'm gonna decide if I like the game by watching it be played, right? Or like borrowing somebody's deck and playing it. I'm not gonna learn the game from a TD ever, not even once. Like I learned Magic that way. But like that was also like a new game. Like I was very young. But I think now I've played enough card games where I don't need to do that. So I'm just gonna learn from playing a good deck.
Well, Magic almost seems too big to fail. So do you think that this high barrier of entry for bigger tournaments is going to continue being an epidemic.
No, Magic is still growing.
Oh.
Like, that, it's not hurting Magic at all. Or it's not hurting Wizards at all. It's hurting only people who want to go to GBs.
That's a shame.
Yeah. So, there's that. But I don't know how Yu-Gi-Oh! Prizing works, but I heard from a lot of stories from friends. So, a lot of, like, random Best Buy shit being given away. Like, you know, PS4 or PS3s, PS4s, Xbox 360s, whatever, you know. iPads, laptops, whatever. Like, I've seen some wacky ass Yu-Gi-Oh! Prize payouts of just like Best Buy shit.
Back when I was doing it, it was usually either like a smaller amount of cash with like a lower barrier of entry, or like a box or something. We didn't really have they started doing the Best Buy prize support like near the end of my tenure. So like about 6 years ago or so that started peaking in. I guess
Best Buy's prize support is like real funny to me.
Why? Just like you.
It's just so like there's a notorious GP in Magic that happened in Germany, I believe, where there's like no gambling laws.
Oh.
So
how did they word that then?
Well, so Magic tournament was considered gambling, so they couldn't give out cash prize. So basically, they just converted all the cash prize to like random shit at Best Buy. It ended up being called GP Best Buy, just because like people were getting like TVs and like laptops and whatever.
At least it's still a functional item that you can use or sell for money.
Right. It's just so funny.
But like, what if they just kept going with that, where it was just more and more cumbersome things to deal with? Like,
imagine you travel to that GP, right, and you just end up with a bunch of shit.
All right, guys. First prize of today's tournament is a 401k. What?
With European plugs, right? Like TV. Actually amazing.
All right, guys. Russian Order Bride. Today's first prize. How does that even work? Well, she has her own autonomy. She doesn't necessarily have to go with you. It's just, I guess it's more in spirit only. You know what? Forget it. This is dumb.
Yeah, this is whatever you're doing is bad metaphor. So,
oh no, I was still in the joke. So that.
I would like to see Vanguard give more. See, the problem with like sealed product as prize is like it's usually used to kind of like insert more cards into the game.
Yeah.
But Vanguard doesn't necessarily need to do that.
Well, at this point, it doesn't with the reboot going on.
Well, I don't know. It feels bad playing for nothing, I guess. Like, there's no stakes to play for. Like, there's no reason to stay in events when you've already lost top 8 cut. Like, it feels kind of bleh.
I think So in my locals, it's first, second, and third. First place, and you get packs, but first place can convert their packs into store credit. Which
you should always do.
Which is what my friend Vince and I have been doing, because he's interested in Angel Feather stuff. I've just been doing it so I don't have to actually pay for tournament entries, and also when Answer of Truth comes out in English. But, it's... I think that does give at least the local level something to shoot for. With the, like, okay, I can use this for store credit for future stuff. It's not necessarily something I might not want now. And I can understand that local stores don't necessarily want to just give cash out.
Sure.
Yeah, A is probably gambling, but B, it's bad for their overhead and stuff like that. At the same time, something is happening this week at my local tournament. They are having, it's a $10 entry fee. You get 2 packs of Cyqualia Strife, which is whatever, but first place gets a digital copy of the new Super Smash Bros. This is not Bushiroad.
I would want to win just so other people can't have it.
That's probably the most Matt thing I've heard you say in this entire episode.
Well, I'm preventing somebody from playing Smash. I'm doing the world a favor. I'm doing this person a favor.
There's a very Costanza reason to...
They don't know it, but I'm doing them a favor.
I mean, I like Smash Bros, so you can eat me. But I don't own a Switch, so it would mostly just be for...
I also don't own a Switch, so it'd be really funny.
Yeah, I would probably
But make
just
sure you
either-
win. Just make sure you win, just so you can't claim it. And be like, well, what if I want to get a Switch?
Well, I don't have to tell anybody that. Nobody knows I don't own a Switch except for Vince. So,
Oh, you're gonna get called out immediately.
well, okay. There's a few things I can do with it. I can either A, sell it, B, give it to my friend Sophie, who's also entering with us and needs a Christmas present for her brother. So I could do
That
that.
one was spicy.
Yeah. Or C, I could keep it, get the Switch, and play with. Look, that has nothing to do with what I was trying to go after. The point is that I find this an interesting way for people like Vanguard players to get the prize support they want, which is at the local level.
Right. And I think I've seen locals with fine price support. Like my Magic F&M has solid price support. Like I basically get $20-$25 of store credit a week.
There you go.
Paying 5, so I'm getting 15 to 20 a week, which is fine.
Yeah.
And I'm just free rolling it. Like I've paid for entry and I don't even know how long.
Yeah, me too. I usually win about like once every 6 weeks, and that usually carries me to the next win.
Yep.
Otherwise, I usually end up in like the top 4 somewhere.
Yep. And it's just like, is my locals for Magic soft? Probably, but it's like, it's still fun. So I'm always going to play Magic there.
But I wonder what the potential for this could be, wherein, like, if you get enough people to pony up, maybe you can do more, like, gift cards to places if you get a local business to maybe sponsor or something.
I don't know. Like, if you want, you can do kind of special events just to kind of like tournaments. Really, the purpose of a tournament or a locals is to get people in your store.
Yeah.
So, like, if the locals is popular, you can start doing more crazy things than if the locals is just, like, 12 people. If that makes sense.
Ours is usually anywhere between, like, 10 to 25, depending on the week.
Right. Well, my Magic F&Ms, we have, like, 2 different F&Ms, like 30 people.
Okay, so you have a bigger...
We have, like, a standard of 30 people and a modern of 30 people.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, because it's Magic and people will show up for Magic, it's, like, a bigger deal, right?
Yeah.
Or, like, for Vanguard, like, it's so... It's... Vanguard players, I notice, are just, like, sometimes they just don't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, like, really annoying.
It kind of reminds me of... So, I do stand-up comedy, and a lot of open mics that I go to, just to practice, that's what it is. People will go do their set and then leave immediately after doing their set, and then everyone kind of never gains anything out of it, because you're more or less playing to an empty or disinterested room, which doesn't help you get better. It's just kind of like a sample size in the wrong context. And
right.
The idea is that if you go to a mic where people stay, like, at least stay like 1 or 2 past when you go up, and support the comic after you, then everyone gets better, and it doesn't have to be a zero-sum game. The same applies to Vanguard tournaments, where if you show up to them and play, it gets more interesting, and maybe you get more things like this Smash Bros. Tournament, or your 30-plus person thing with Magic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what I'm saying is you get out of it what you put into it. And
yep.
I will return to my whittling on the back porch.
Well, I think Vanguard prize support, like at the booster level, obviously it's like never going to improve, but like at the local level, can improve by people consistently showing up and wanting bigger events. Like
ARG.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like getting ARGs at your local store or something. I'm sure they have like a tournament kit or something. I'm not sure how it works, but I'm sure that everyone does a freaking tournament kit nowadays.
All I know is that ARG for the most part is like Midwest to East Coast, and like,
right.
And every time they decide to try it out here, they don't tell anybody, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we tried it last week and nobody was there." I'm like, "Well, I didn't fucking know about this. I would have come."
Yeah, advertising is a thing. Tell people about events.
Yes.
Spread the word. So
all around the world.
Sometimes you and your crew have to show up to some other card shop and beat down their tournament. Whatever. It's fine.
Or get your ass kicked depending who you go with.
Basically. It's weird. So stores, I found that like game stores don't can do really well if they have like tournaments on separate days. Like I've definitely, when I was living in Knoxville, there was just like a Magic tournament on like 4 different days of the week.
Oh.
So like you could just like go almost every day.
My
Because,
locals
like,
has
all
them
they
on has tournaments for Vanguard on Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, but you could they would just like have like different things going on every day, so you could like pick a place. It was like really funny.
Well, that was nice. I mean, it also if you're like
Well, there's no reason to like directly compete, right?
Oh, like have like different stores doing the same tournament on different days,
or on the same day, right? Then you're like directly fighting another store, and then now people are gonna pick, and you're gonna split and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
But if you just pick a day that nobody else picked, and you're like, okay, cool, thanks, you get your day, right? But you know, it's all their call. But you know, it was interesting for us because we could just play more Magic.
Always a good time. Okay, I can't contain myself anymore. Okay,
It would be so funny.
I made it 20 minutes. All right, I did what I could.
We finished our first topic.
Sure. There was a card revealed this morning or last night on the stream. Pentagonal. Shut the fuck up. All right. Pentagonal Magus is the VR for the Miyagi High School Academy set for Oracle Think Tank. It's a grade 3 12k protect gift. So on Vanguard Circle, trigger effects revealed by your drive check gets plus 5k extra for power increase. So your triggers do 15k on your turn, obviously. And then also, when it attacks, you can Soul Blast a grade 3 and discard 5 cards from your hand. And this unit gets drive plus 3 until the end of that battle. Discarding cards from your hand for this cost is reduced for each rear guard with Magus in its card name in your front row. Oh my god, you guys, there's a card with 5 drive checks. The game is gonna end. No!
Don't you just want to quintuple crit some guy, though?
I think you have a better chance doing that with Himiko than you do with this.
Yeah, but just imagine.
Well...
That'd be so sweet.
Okay.
If only there was a way you could get extra drive checks by, like, restanding your Vanguard or something.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Okay,
Alright, so this card is something.
Everyone is losing their collective shit online right now.
I think this card is good.
Yeah.
5 drive checks is a lot.
Yeah. I mean, see, that's the thing, is, like, after what I just said, I don't think this is any more absurd than, like, a restander or... Yeah, a restander, basically. Or something like, what's-his-face, Mystery Flare. Especially when it has a base discard 5 cost, and at most you'll mitigate it to 3.
Which basically makes it so you just... It's just like...
You net zero your loss.
Exactly.
Like, this is not any different from a restander. It's just...
Alright.
Like, I think this card is similar to Deer.
Yeah.
I know that cost is cheaper, and I know that it makes triggers cost more, but hear me out. I think on 5 checks, you're on average going to get about 2 triggers.
Especially if you, like, did some scrying with the Magus stuff that has been revealed so far.
And, like, from what we've seen so far, there's no way to manipulate more than 2 cards at a time.
Right.
Like, you're never going to be stacking, like, 5... Even with the cards that let you put critical triggers back on top of the deck, that's 3 criticals at most.
And you're not filtering down the bottom of your deck fast enough in any real form. Mm-hmm. So,
there's that too.
I think on average you're going to get about 2 triggers, which is about the same as Deer.
Yeah.
Like, Deer can miss, whatever. But it probably is almost always going to hit 2, or near close to always hit 2, right?
Seems like the guy at my locals who plays OTT always gets 1 or 0. He's a very unlucky man.
Oh, correct. Well, I guess you should almost always. I feel like you should almost always get 1, and like 2 should be reasonable. But like this card, you're more than likely going to hit two triggers on it. Maybe not all crits, of course, because you can only play 8. But I don't know. I think if you're not playing Magus, like Magus grade 2s, this card gets a little worse.
Yeah.
Like a lot worse.
I discard. Like, discard 5 for 5 drive checks is pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's just... Like, your hand isn't increasing in any way, and then...
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could discard Protect Gifts. That'd be sweet.
That is a thing
Yeah.
you can do. Yes, our fellow Nexus person and friend of the pod, and I say that loosely because he makes fun of this on a regular basis. Gabe put together a very neat and tidy pros and cons list, so everyone can shut the fuck up about this already. All right. Pros, you can get a theoretical maximum of plus 75k if you rip 5 triggers. You only have to Soul Blast 1 grade 3 for the cost. It acts as the protect finisher in place of the deer, so you can run more 1s and 2s, or also, CEO Imperial for more consistency if you wish to. Can be used in non-magus builds if you really want to. No counterblast cost, and virtually sculpts your hand, so you can discard what you don't want and hopefully get what you do. Cons, and this is longer, I might add. Skill is, like you said, Root Beer, a firm wash at best and a -2 at worst. The continuous skill for adding 5k to your triggers is only offensive, so you can't use that defensively.
This card is a terrible first ride.
Yeah. Requires either tons of sack or tons of setup. Even if you use setup cards like Rectangle and Tetramagus, requires them to actually see triggers on the top of your deck before drive checking them, since blanking is possible. Pretty much locked to Magus builds, although, like we said before, you can use it outside of that if you want to. If the rest of the support is mediocre, you'll be forced to run subpar cards in order to make her operate on all cylinders. Does not help OTT's issue against Murakumo. Does not help OTT's issue against other Protect clans, so the large numbers can be made irrelevant due to Protect gifts, actual PGs, and Magatsu.
And this card is slow. Like, you need a grade... This is your second ride, and we've already seen from Murakumo and Neo Nectar that OTT is very susceptible to rush.
Yeah, you ain't got the fucking time
like,
to make this work. Overall, 6 out of 10.
Like, even in the garbage times of Nova Grappler and Aquaforce being the only Excel clans, they could easily beat OTT. You just cannot afford to get rushed as OTT because you didn't gain advantage fast enough. But you don't really start get going until you hit grade 3 for the first time, which is very slow against decks that play aggressively starting grade 2.
Just win the die roll, get a trigger on damage, easy. What's your problem is?
Well, James from our, I forgot which episode it is at this point, everything runs together. I'm a terrible host. He said that, with this kind of Magus stuff, is it better for decks to, up their strengths or fix their weaknesses in order to become better?
I think if you fix OTT's weaknesses, you're really creating a huge issue.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to do that. But I think I wanted to make one last comment about this card. It's really hard to not play Imperial Daughter. Imperial Daughter was on ride costing a counterblast was kind of obnoxious, but her on ride is very strong. Like, just gets cards, can see extra, can guarantee triggers if you wish. Like, can just do a lot.
Also guarantees the crit.
Right.
If you ride over the 3.
And you need a 3 that's good on the first ride. You need the big thing about standard Vanguard is you need good rides, and not just one. It'd be nice to have many good rides. OTT kind of broke that mold in the sense of they had one solid first ride, but their second rides were just really absurd.
Yeah.
And they could gain a lot of advantage on grade 3. But if you can't play Imperial Daughter and Pentagonal Magus, right? Because then your first ride does literally nothing except gain a Protect gift and maybe look at a card.
Or if you ride what's it called, Imperial Daughter first, you at least get a card in your hand. But
which is better than riding what's her name first? Pentagonal first.
Yeah. Which just negates your ride minus, which is fine, but not great. I hear what people are going to be doing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, Root Beer, is Hexagonal Magus just replaces Amaterasu.
For if you want to run Pentagonal, yes, because you need that Magus name to make her not suck.
Oh. So are you just going to, keep the same grade 3 lineup so far? Or...
Well, see, that's the thing, is like, I have an attachment to Magus because they were my first deck, so
Oh.
if I was building a full Magus deck with Pentagonal, I would also use Hexagonal for the name. Like, I think she's a different version of Amaterasu. I think Amaterasu is more consistent because it's anytime you look at your deck versus drive checking a trigger unit.
Yeah.
And then her act ability can be used at any time versus just on play. So, I think Amaterasu is still a better general card, but Hexagonal is good for the Magus build because of the name.
Kind of a hot
I think I
take.
agree with that. I can agree with that.
I see a lot of people in my locals are like, oh, well, this is before they revealed Pentagonal, but Hexagonal, they went, okay, oh, Amaterasu's gone. I'm doing Imperial and
Well,
Hexagonal.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, with Nubatama, or not Nubatama, with Murakumo and Neonectar coming up, that's, like, I mean, okay. Like, the one advantage that Hexagonal has is that you look at the cards first and then draw versus drawing and then looking at your cards.
right.
So you have better control over what you're getting, but I think, like, in the meta that we're about to get with, well, we have Murakumo already, and we're about to get Neonectar, I think Amaterasu is just more consistent against them, because if you end up getting locked to Amaterasu, you can consistently gain cards.
Also, one thing to note about Amaterasu, and we obviously don't know that these kinds of cards might exist, but if they ever print like a card that has like an ability on guard circle, look at the top of your deck.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a super huge deal, right?
Oh, because is Amaterasu only during your turn? Or
I'm checking now.
Yeah. I want to say that it is.
in the case, yeah.
Oh yeah, during your turn. My apologies.
Yeah.
And then,
That'd be so nuts.
Like-
Holy shit.
but
But if you were to want to use the Magus, like the grade 2s and all of the lower grades with Amaterasu, I think that would actually be better than Hexagonal, because you're going to gain a lot more power from all the times you look at your deck.
oh, that's true. It's just more deck looking, so you get like this big fat beat stick. This is the new what's his face, Skull Dragon for you guys.
Yeah, like, in a general sense, Amaterasu is still better, especially with what we're getting, but for Magus, yeah, name.
Also, you guys got countercharge out of it, which is cool.
I mean, we already had Countercharge.
No, but just like another. So when grade 1 or a Crescent Magus, when put into trigger zone, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, Soul Blast and countercharge.
You know what sucks about Tetramagus?
What?
You can't just stack 5 crits on top of your deck.
That would be nice.
Yeah, because you have to draw.
And you can't even do
What?
it with.
Wait, you could like try to.
If you, someone had a theory where if
No.
you combine it with
No, you
Victorious-
can only get like 2 still, because all
Yeah.
of them will only look at top 2. So you can only stack like 2 to 3 at the most.
That sounds like it could be pretty worth though,
I mean,
Yeah.
because then like you get 3 more drive checks to try to hit another one. If you
Mhm.
get 3, that's like a super huge deal.
plus 45k and a crit on each thing,
Yeah.
or double up, or whatever it is you want to do. I'm not saying that Pentagonal Magus is bad by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying that stop.
People are
freaking out.
overreacting.
Yes.
Like, I did not look at this and think that it was immediately broken just because it said discard 5 cards.
Whoa,
I think it was more about the game.
that was my favorite part. Wait,
Like, this card is strong. Like, it is a good card, and in the context of the Magus deck, it's probably going to be cool because you can easily stack 2 to 3 critical triggers on top with your 5 drive checks. But it's not going to be the end of the world. Like James has said, it doesn't really fix any of our problems. And our friend group is freaking out because the OTT card revealed tonight is a grade 3 searcher, and I'm just like, okay, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm still going to have to ride her second, so that's a whole turn you have to try and kill me. Especially if you're using a fast-paced rush deck.
all right. So check this out. What you can do is you can call Tetramagus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Draw a card, put a crit from your hand into play. or put on top of your deck. You can move it to the bottom and do it again. And just keep shoving crits back in your deck. No problem.
So you basically just do the Tsukuyomi thing.
Yeah, except you at least try to shuffle your deck somehow. You just don't know where they are. Easy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could potentially stack like 4 if for some reason your opponent can't read and let Stellar Magus hit.
Nice. I think this is pretty unreasonable, but really funny.
It is probably going to be my goal. I'm really sad Stellar Magus is non-hit, though. She was my favorite Magus card for a long time.
Right?
Stellar Magus being the grade 2. During battle,
Yeah.
boosted gets 2k. Cool. That's nice. You can hit
Yeah, this is a pretty root beer kind of card.
Yeah, when it hits a Vanguard, you may put a card from a hand on top of your deck. Huh.
Yeah. I mean, I have a fondness for this card from the old version, which was just like, on attack, counterblast 1, guess your top card. If you get it right, you add it to your hand. If you get it wrong, you just put it back at countercharge.
Yeah, that is funny.
Like, she was just a free guess to get the more important Magus effects off.
And then you got...
No, that's not true. You would name something stupid, and it'd be a fucking Psychic Braid every time. And then you attack a Vanguard, and you're like, what's on top of my deck? Shit was dumb.
Oh man, I do you remember we did an episode like a long time ago called How to Read a Skill? I'm pretty sure this just turned into How to Read a Skill Volume 2 because
What are you talking about? But 5 drive checks Atlas. 5, count them, 5. You can't even count that high.
I need to start drinking during this show. I have a bottle of water next to me. Not good enough. I need to start bringing a flask. I'm in my house. I can drink.
I have a Coke Zero, which, by the way, is the greatest soda ever.
No. Dr. Pepper. Objectively, it is Dr. Pepper.
You're still wrong. Actually, Dr. Pepper's not even number 2.
It's been around longer than Coke, and it's still here.
All right, here is the number 1 soda ever is Coke Zero. Coke Zero Sugar, the new one. It's so good. Number 2 is Diet Dr. Pepper.
No,
that shit is lit. That shit is lit.
If I'm going to be poisoning myself, I would rather not have it be my liver. I want my pancreas taking all of the...
I'm just looking for ways to die. I don't need it to be any specific way.
Nexus at Night, the Death Wish podcast.
I'm just saying that Coke Zero is the best soda on the market.
You're wrong. What?
I'm not wrong. I'm actually correct.
Sure.
Look, this is just how it is. You can be wrong. You can have a wrong opinion, but... And apparently it's thinking that Dr. Pepper is the best soda when it is clearly outclassed by Coke Zero Sugar.
Oh no, a wrong opinion is that Pentagonal Magus is going to somehow be the end of days.
No, that was pre-errata dust.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one was going to just be the end of days.
It was.
I think that was the appropriate reaction to pre-errata dust, actually.
Oh, yeah, of course. We had the whole episode.
Although I still remember the people who were like, no, it's fine, guys. Everyone was like...
Yeah, you just never have to be at 5 damage, ever.
Yeah, right?
And this is why you study history.
Look at these idiots.
All right.
I mean, in terms of our friend group, the guy that said Dust was fine is complaining about all this OTT support.
Well, he's not... you know what? I'm not...
To be fair,
I can't.
He's not even like... You can't use him as like...
Litmus test?
A metric to say what a reasonable reaction is. if that's fair. We all know one. And nobody knows this person, so we should probably not keep on this too long.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about prize support. Bushiroad's probably not going to do it for yourself, or... I would
love to see more prize support for Bushiroad, even if it's just like sweet ass promos.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if, like, you get top 64 to event, you get a sweet ass fucking gold stamped super sweet VR of your clan.
That'd be cool. Or maybe it'd be weird if, like, if you won, you could do like an image rare, but of yourself, and they make it. That'd be
Oh
crazy.
God, no, never, no, please, no.
I mean, you can decline
You want it to be sellable Atlas.
Oh, right. Like Lightsworn Minerva.
Oh yeah, that was a great idea.
Yeah, James was telling me about it. Or like, I was gone by that point, but I remember being like, oh, there's a $200 promo that you kind of need to make the deck good.
It's only 200.
At the peak of its
Oh no, it was like 2,000.
2,000. Holy shit!
You forgot a zero.
Oh yeah, I guess I did.
And it was the only way that lights weren't even worked, and it still wasn't super great.
That's always fun trying to explain to. So how much is it to get into the game? Oh, you want to play Lightsworn? Yeah, sorry, mate. It's gonna be a mortgage payment on your house.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Lightsworn. I don't like decks that lose to themselves.
You don't like decks that what? That mill themselves?
Lose to themselves.
Oh yeah. And then I shed a single tear for Great Nature, I guess.
Look, man, Great Nature is like pretty sweet.
It is pretty sweet. Yeah. So we hope we gave you some ideas to, maybe get it going in your local neighborhood, or at least.
Yeah, I'm just trying to finish my Pokemon deck.
Sure. I don't mean you specifically. I mean the listener. Okay. Anyway.
Also, rest in peace to the creator of SpongeBob.
Yes.
Yes.
Of today's recording, Stefan Hillenberg died. He was 57, and he died of ALS, which is the same.
That's a shitty way to go.
It is. It's the same disease that Stephen Hawking had. SpongeBob was basically half of my entire childhood. The other half being Avatar: The Last Airbender.
In our generation, in our entire generation, SpongeBob is like a keystone, really.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes.
Literally because of the memes, basically.
I mean, SpongeBob, even the show itself, like memes aside, right?
Yeah.
It's just like this is the life of millennials.
Pretty much.
Like we're just hanging out with friends, working a shitty job,
And then just quote SpongeBob at each other. I'm pretty sure
that's what happens in SpongeBob.
Yeah. Exactly. What do you normally do when I'm done? Wait for you to get back, and then I start crying at work.
It's literally your roommates. But yeah, so SpongeBob is fantastic, and it's very sad.
We also never said goodbye to Stan Lee when that happened.
Oh yeah.
We ended up skipping that, but Stan Lee and Stefan Hillenberg, we hope you're hanging out in heaven, knowing that you created some of the biggest cultural touchstones of our zeitgeist.
And for those of you who have other beliefs, that they left some memorable things.
Yeah.
Here in Meat Space.
Meat Space?
Yeah.
Yes, Meat Space.
The life.
Oh.
The living among the living things. And things that will forever live on, right? Like, I don't think Spider-Man is going anywhere.
No.
Unless they make a whole lot of shitty movies, then it might.
Well, like the.
I mean, if the deal with Mephisto didn't kill Spider-Man, nothing will.
Right?
Killed
Or the
Dr.
Clone
Faustus.
Saga.
I mean, Spider-Man lives on despite Spider-Man 3. I think it can live on too.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man 3, the Clone Saga, the deal with Mephisto.
I still don't understand how they got... Okay, Eddie Brock is a ripped, like, the opposite of Peter Parker. He's like a big dude. Let's get the nerdy, skinny guy from that 70s show as Eddie Brock. That's the perfect idea. I still can't...
Look, Spider-Man 3 is just an abomination.
Oh, of course. But I can't forgive Sony for, A, doing that to the character, and B, derailing that 70s show.
Who cares?
I
The
care.
70s should be bad.
Well, it sucked after Eric left.
Sucks.
And you wanted to be my latex salesman. I finished that too, so I gotta find another show to binge.
But I SpongeBob is just something that's like much closer to me than comic books, to be honest. So,
but just I figure that they deserve the salute too. So rest in peace, Stephen Hillenberg, and Stanley, and
I hope we don't learn that after you die that you were a really horrible, shitty person.
oh, both of them.
Yes.
I mean, Stefan Hillenberg was a marine biologist, and not like the sea was angry that day, my friend's type of marine biologist. He was like a real one.
Like George Costanza?
Like not George Costanza.
It was a joke.
I know. Into the eye of the great fish. It's a mammal. Whatever.
Oh man.
All
Is
right.
anyone marine biology? All right, I'm done.
All right. So that's pretty much it. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram at Nexus at Night. You can find me at Atlas Novak.
Find me at Wiggins. Please feel free to quote Seinfeld at me. Thank you.
Oh yes, of course. Goes for me too.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse. Don't actually follow me. I don't post anything on Twitter.
I mean,
Do it.
it's for the spirit. All right. Until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm still Matt.
And I'm Root Beer. Also, the new OTT starter is still Logic Magus, not Semi-Lunar Magus. 0 out of 10.
Tilt.
They have it as an image rare, so that's cool, I guess. And have a good night, everybody.